The greatest good you can do for another is not just to share your riches, but to reveal to them their own. Benjamin Disraeli. There comes a point in life when achievement alone stops feeling like progress. You work harder, you do more, you hit goals that once felt important, and yet something feels slightly off. You're not empty, just incomplete. Maybe you're chasing opportunity, but you feel tired. Maybe you're learning and growing, but you feel disconnected from the people around you. Or maybe you're succeeding, but you don't really feel the fulfillment that you expected. Life gets heavier when everything depends on us. When we think progress is only measured by our personal achievements, or when our goals start stealing attention from the relationships that support us. That pressure is exhausting. And it's easy to fall into it without ever realizing it's happening. The topic this time is a concept I was recently introduced to. Individually, they all make sense. But it's the bigger concept of ensuring you merge them all together that's more important. Live your life in thirds. The first third. Learn from those ahead of you. A third of your time should be spent with people who are further ahead of you in life or their careers, so that you can learn, listen, and expand your perspective. There's something powerful about being around people who have already achieved the results you're working towards. When you put yourself with people who have lived longer, succeeded in what you're aiming for, or have found a pace and confidence you're still building, their presence has a calming effect. It reminds you that progress is patient, and you don't need to master every part of your life at once. Now, this first third isn't only about absorbing information. It's also about maturing emotionally. When you're around people who have done what you want to do, you begin to realize you don't need to force growth, chase validation, or protect your ego every time you're uncertain. You become more curious and less reactive. You start redefining your definition of success. Remember, there's always someone who's already walked the road you're trying to navigate. Being close to them builds perspective. It speeds up your learning curve without burning you out. And it teaches you humility, which is one of the most underrated forms of maturity. Spend part of your life with people ahead of you, because they've lived through the mistakes you've not yet made. They shorten your path, and their stories reinforce that results are earned through endurance, patience, emotional steadiness, and self-awareness. The second third. This is about the people beside you, your spouse, your friends, family members, your partners, everyone who's sharing your life with you, the ones you laugh with, argue with, support each other, and sometimes struggle through life with them. This is the part most of us overlook when we're chasing personal goals or trying to achieve our professional goals. We tell ourselves, we'll slow down later, when the work is under control, or when the chaos settles. But life rarely opens a window that feels perfectly calm and perfectly convenient. The people walking beside you need you now, not later. They need presence, not just proximity. They need attention that isn't distracted or rushed. Because success means nothing if you have no one to share it with. Your closest relationships should not feel like leftover time after you've finished proving yourself to the world. They're the foundation that makes everything sustainable. They give your life balance, grounding, and belonging. The second third is where emotional responsibility matters. It's where communication matters. It's where showing up with consistency matters. When you grow alongside the people in your corner, you get to become a better human. At the same time, you're becoming a better professional. You share the journey instead of simply reporting on it later. You feel supported. You feel challenged, but you feel understood. This part of life reminds you that achievement is richer when it's shared. When you have people who already know your story, your hopes, your fears, because they've lived through it with you. Invest in the people beside you. They deserve the best of your attention, not the scraps of your schedule. Each of us is on the grind. It's that early alarm, the extra rep, the drive that doesn't quit. Grind, spelt GRND, is the mindset that pushes you to go further when most people stop. Founded by a former Army Ranger, Grind Activewear is built on one simple mission: give 100% and then some more. Every piece of clothing is functional, durable, and made for people who outwork the rest. On the field, in the gym, or wherever you're building your next lane. This isn't just clothing. It's commitment woven into fabric, rooted in American grit and culture. Because when you wear Grind, you're not just wearing a logo. You're representing effort, discipline, and purpose. Check out thegrndcollective.com and use the promo code TRANSITION15 for 15% off your order. You're already on the grind. Now wear it. The final third, this is where maturity shows its clearest form. This is the part where you mentor, guide, and encourage people. Encourage those who are earlier in life, earlier in skill, earlier in their emotional development, or earlier in their professional journey. Mentoring isn't about giving orders or pretending you're perfect. Mentoring is about being honest about your failures and being generous with your experience, as well as your patience with someone who hasn't lived through what you've already learned the hard way. You don't need to be wealthy or powerful to lead someone else. You don't need a title or a degree. You simply need to be authentic and willing to show up. Give back to someone without expecting anything in return, not because they owe you, but because you remember what it feels like when you were uncertain, insecure, overwhelmed, or hungry to find direction. Mentoring is also a powerful way to stay humble. When you talk to someone who's still learning, you're reminded of how far you've come and how much you didn't know when you first started. It brings gratitude back into your daily thinking. One of the most meaningful parts of life is seeing someone grow because you chose to give your time, your attention, and your belief in their journey. That's legacy. Living in thirds is not a rigid schedule. You're not dividing your day like a math problem. It's more of a mindset. It's a way of giving your life depth instead of rushing through it with tunnel vision. Life becomes more constant when you respect all three parts. You grow because you learn from those ahead. You stay grounded because you share life with those beside you. You mature because you mentor those coming up behind you. Each third strengthens the others. And something powerful happens when you stop trying to carry life alone. Your confidence improves. Your relationships remain healthier. Your stress decreases. All because you no longer feel like every lesson has to come from personal pain or trial and error. Living in thirds corrals your ego. It teaches you emotional maturity. It reminds you that life is a shared experience. And when you show up for all three parts, you no longer feel like you're chasing an endless list of personal goals that never quite feel complete. Your life becomes about connection, about belonging, about shared wisdom and contribution. So spend time with people who are further ahead of you. Let their stories slow your urgency. Let their patience guide your perspective. Stay engaged with the people beside you. Protect those relationships. Give them the same effort you give your ambitions. Then, give back to someone who hasn't reached where you're at yet. Be generous with your encouragement and your experience. Help someone build their identity, their clarity, and their confidence. And know this isn't a system that's about perfection. It's a system for balance. It's a reminder that life is bigger than personal achievement, and it's more fulfilling than solitary goals. So as you move into next week, ask yourself these questions. Who can I learn from? Who do I need to walk beside with more presence? Who can I mentor, support, or encourage? Choose one answer for each and live your life in thirds. You'll feel yourself grow, stay grounded, and impact others more than you ever realized. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes with me. Until next time, stay sharp, stay grounded, and keep showing up.